Today's video is sponsored by Minimal Case. Now it's that time of year where all of the newest phones have just been released. We have the release of all the new iPhones, the new Pixel lineup, and if you're like me, you probably pick a phone based off of its design. And the last thing that I want to do is cover it up with some huge bulky case, and that's where Minimal Case comes in. Their case designs are made to give you protection against scratches and light drops while still allowing you to enjoy the design of the phone itself. If you go to their site, you can see they're available in more natural type colors. You have frosted black, frosted white, you have matte options, and you even have clear cases available as well. Now, if you are interested in buying any of their cases, make sure to use the code Gamesky where you can save 25%. And again, I'd like to thank Minimal Case for sponsoring today's video. Alright guys, so today we're going to be checking out the Axloie G2 Sport True Wireless earbuds. Now this pair comes in at $50, and right now on Amazon you can pick them up, I believe, for $32 or $33. So that is very inexpensive, especially if you're somebody looking for a sport pair of true wireless earbuds where there's not really a whole lot of those out there. Now I do want to start with the fact that if you were to walk into a store, there are a lot of things about these earbuds that would not initially grab your attention. The packaging is pretty generic. It's a blue box with some simple graphics on the outside, but it just looks really generic. And then two, it's an earbud that's basically a rebranded earbud. Now we see this all the time where you can see unbranded versions of this or other companies with a very identical earbud. It's just slapped with their logo on it. And then the other thing that really does not grab my attention about this is it uses a micro USB cable for charging. Now that doesn't seem to bother a lot of you guys, but in 2020 a lot of things are using USB-C, so this is something I just like to see on every product. But let's go ahead and look at the things that does make this a very intriguing device. We're going to check out what's in the box and see why I think it's an absolute steal even if you pick it up for $50. Now to start with, these are available in 3 different colors. You do have a black model, a white model, and a pink model. They're using Bluetooth 5.0 with AAC and SBC playback. Surprisingly, I didn't have any dropouts with this pair. I didn't have any kind of lag with movies or videos. I did experience lag with gaming, so if you're going to be buying this for gaming, I would look elsewhere, but I mean, it's a sport earbud, so majority of the time you're probably going to be using this in the gym or out and about, which the huge plus to that is it has an IP rating of IPX7. So this pair is completely waterproof, easily a pair that you can do what you need to do. If you do happen to drop them in water, you're going to be fine. Now, as far as what you're getting inside the box, you are getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. And like I said earlier, the charging cable is a micro USB cable. And speaking of the charging cable, battery life on these are actually pretty decent. On the earbuds themselves, you're going to get around 5 hours, where with the charging case, you're going to get around 35 hours total. Now, that is pretty on par with a lot of other sport earbuds. If you are going to be using these at the gym or for running, most people are not going to be doing that for 5 hours at a time anyway. But if you do happen to pick them up and they are dead, it also has a fast charge feature where a 15-minute charge will get you an hour's worth of use. Now, as far as fast charge or quick charge, that's not anything special, but it is nice to know if you're on your way out the door and you need to charge these up real quickly, you can get an hour out of that 15 minutes. Now moving over to looking at the case on these are fairly large. Now that seems to be pretty common with the sport earbuds that have the ear hook. They just take up a little bit more space. Now on the back you can see where the micro USB input is located, and then it only has a single indicator light so that you can gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now moving over to looking at the earbuds. Now these do have the sport hook design. Luckily this is a very comfortable pair. I have tried some other sport earbuds that have a harder plastic and it's really hard to get a good fit on them. These fit me perfectly and they angled the earbuds just right into my ear canal. So I got a good seal with the ear tips, and that's very important when it comes to the sound. Now, as far as the controls on here, these do use button controls, and I'm happy to say that you have control over everything. So you have your play, your pause, skipping your track forward, going backwards, and even volume control all on the earbud itself. Now, one thing that these don't have that a lot of other sport earbuds have is it does not have an ambient mode. So you're not able to just kind of have the earbuds channel in your surroundings. So you will have to take them out if you need to carry on a conversation, and you definitely need to be careful if you're running in a high traffic area. And for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right. And a huge plus here is when you're using one at a time, it switches them over into mono mode, which makes sure that you're not missing out on any of your audio because it has everything channeling out of that one earbud. And then as far as the microphones on here, I think they did a fairly decent job if you're going to be using these for taking calls. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. Alright guys, so here is a mic test using the Axloie G2s. Again, I think they did a decent job here. Feel like it picks up my voice very well. And this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now before we talk about the sound, this is the part of the video I like to play some samples from the earbuds. That way you guys can kind of hear some of the characteristics before I give you my opinion. So let's go ahead and check out some of those samples here.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy.
So now that you guys have heard some samples, I want to give you my opinion on the sound. I honestly was so surprised with the sound that came out of these. I wasn't expecting much. Like I said, I looked at the packaging. I looked at the fact that this earbud can be found by other brands. And so my bar was set very, very low. And I can say by the time that I was done checking these out, I was really impressed. And I found that I really enjoyed using these. It sounded great with all genres. It does have a lot of thump in the low end. So if you are a bass head, I know you'll be completely happy with these. But it didn't have bass that just drowned everything out. I felt like the mids had really nice presence. It wasn't pushed too forward, so it didn't feel like they're right there in front of you, but it wasn't set back enough that it felt like the vocalist got drowned out behind the bass. And same thing with the treble. Treble's turned up in a way where there's a lot of nice details in the sound, and the treble had to be turned up to kind of balance out with the really thumping bass, and I think they did a very good job here. Now, as far as the Soundstage and sound imaging, this is not the most wide sounding earbud. I would say it made me feel like I was in a medium sized room, and that's kind of to be expected in a dynamic sounding pair of earbuds, just because if you're having bass push forward and you have everything turned up, it just doesn't have that very open sound. Now, as far as being able to tell where everything's coming from, this pair absolutely nails that. I can tell where instruments are coming from. I can hear subtle sounds, and overall, it's just a very pleasing earbud to listen to. Now, as far as some of my cons with these, I do have a couple. One is the micro USB cable. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm never going to be a fan of that, and so I wish they would have used USB-C. And then my only other complaint is the case size. But one thing about true wireless earbuds is you like to be able to just throw your earbuds in the case, throw them in your pocket, and just go about your business and kind of forget that they're there. And so even though the case is pocketable, it's just one of those, it's a little bit larger, and it's more one that you're going to want to throw into a gym bag. But outside of that, for $35, even for $50, I have no reservations with recommending these. I think bass heads will be happy. People that just like a dynamic sound overall would be happy. If you like a flat sound, this obviously is not a pair that you would be looking at, but I do not think this is going to be a pair a lot of people would complain about, and I think you'd be very impressed with the sound coming out of these. So guys, that's my video on the Axloie G2 Sport True Wireless Earbuds. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.